Hello everyone, this is the first lesson recording for January 29th, 2021. We started by doing quiz number 2 on sequences, graphing, and equation. So if you missed it, please contact me as soon as possible so that you can make up the quiz. The retake for this quiz is available if you earned 80% or lower. And if you earned lower than 70%, you need to come to study hall on Tuesday at 3 p.m. so that we can go over the quiz together. And then following day on Wednesday, that's on the cohort day, that you're going to be coming to my study hall at 12 p.m. to do the retake. What are we doing today? So we are going to continue studying systems of equations. In particular, we're going to review finding solutions graphically and practice modeling situations as equations. So to begin, we're going to review by working on card number 1 to 3 of Desmos. So here we go. What are my numbers? Number 1, here are two requirements that my two numbers need to satisfy. The difference between the two numbers is 16. And one number is 3 times the other number. So we let x and y be the two numbers we want to find, and so we begin by writing an equation using x and y to represent the condition 1. The condition 1 says the difference between the two numbers is 16. So let's break that apart. The difference, when you see the word difference, what should you be thinking? What operation should you be thinking? It should be subtraction between the two numbers. The two numbers are my x and y, so we're really talking about x minus y. Is, when you see the word is, we're talking about is equal to 16. So the first equation is x minus y is equal to 16. So I am going to type that in here. X minus y is equal to 16. Then for the second condition is one number is x times the other number. So what does that mean? One number, we can call that first number x. Is translates to equals. 3 times means 3 multiplied by the other number we said was a variable y. So x is equal to 3y. That's my second equation. So I write that in my next equation. Y is equal to 3. Okay, actually it should be x is equal to 3y. It doesn't matter whether you put y is equal to 3x or x is equal to 3y. Okay, and then from there I submit and then move on. Alright, then graph the equation to find the solution. So the first equation was x minus y was equal to 16. And then second equation was x is equal to 3y. So those were my two equations. Okay, so then I get to see where they intersect. Alright, so if I look at where they intersect, I can always zoom in, or I can also hover on the intersection, and I get the intersection to be 24,8. 24,8. And those are my two numbers. The x is going to be equal to 24, y is equal to 8. So I then enter my two numbers and then submit. And I got it correct. So I get this big Spider-Man giving me a thumbs up. Okay, I have another problem, and this problem is a little bit more complicated. Now Mrs. Van Horn, that's me, got her shipment of fresh fruits. There are a total of 82 fruits in the box. The number of mangoes is 6 more than 3 times the number of guavas. how many fruits of each type is in the box? That's my question. So it's a situation and you need to figure out, okay, how many mangoes, how many guavas in the box. So we have two different criteria, okay? So you're gonna tell me in private chat what quantities do we want to find. We want to find the number of mangoes and number of guavas. So we can let x be the number of mangoes and let y be the number of guavas. So whatever the quantities you want to find, you put that as a x and a y, and you clarify what you're calling what, because when you get your answer, this way you know what x was referred to and what y was referring to. Then you write the equation using the xy to represent the first criteria, which is that there are a total of 82 fruit in the box. Okay, so let's just imagine some numbers. Okay, if x was 12, then what would be y? Okay, so if I had 12 mangoes, and how many guavas would I have had? I would have had to have 70, because I know that 12 plus 70 is 82. Okay, if I had 50 mangoes, how many guavas would I have to have? 50 plus what is 82? It's 32. Okay, so what do you think would be the expression that says the total, the sum of the number of mangoes, that's x, and number of guavas is going to be 82? That's going to be x plus y is equal to 82. That's how many fruit we have in the box. The second statement says the number of mangoes is 6 more than 3 times the number of guavas. Can we translate that into an algebraic equation? Okay, so the number of mangoes. The number of mangoes. What do we know about the number of mangoes? Well, we have called that number of mangoes. What do we call that? We call the number of mangoes x. The number of mangoes. So instead of number of mangoes, I'm going to say x. And then there is the word is. That translates to equal sign. 6 more. 6 more means something is added. 6 is added. Then 3 times. So something is added afterwards though. So when you say 6 more than, 6 is added to after 3 times number of guavas. 3 times the number of guavas. What's number of guavas? We said that represented by y. So the equation becomes x is equal to 3y plus 6. And there it is. X is equal to 3y plus 6. So now that we have our two equations, we need to graph them to find the solutions. So you're going to pull Desmos.com graphing calculator and find the solutions. Okay, where do the two graphs meet? It meets when x is equal to 63, y is equal to 19, or the coordinate 63, 19. So that means, what did x represent? That was number of mangoes. And what did the y represent? It was number of guavas. So I had 63 mangoes and 19 guavas in that box. Okay, so I would like you to take notes on this now. And this is where there's some notes on the steps to figuring out the equations and translating it and then finding the solution. So when you have a situation, worded problem, and we're trying to convert it to an equation, you first figure out what two quantities we want to find. What are the things that we want to find? And then we assign a variable to each. Then we write let statement for both variables. So like we said let x is equal to number of mangoes, let y is equal to number of guava. Be sure to include units. Okay, so it's number of, you can't sort of say x is guava, y is mangoes, because it could be many different qualities about mangoes. It could be so, or it could be, I don't know, maybe it could be colors of mango, it could be quantities of mangoes, or it could be, you know, there are many different things. So but when you say units, then it's very clear. So make sure you write units and then identify the information relating the two quantities. That means so you relate how the two quantities are related. Okay, so for example, how are they related? Remember, we had total of 84 mangoes and or fruits in the box. So that's how they are related. And as well as the other criteria is how they are also related. So two different criteria let us know how the two quantities are related. Then you translate that relationship, how they are related, to math equations. So those are the steps that I would like you to follow. And with that, you are going to pause the video and try to do card number 4 to card number 6. That's the Kit Kat and Reese's problem. So let's read the problem. In the bag, there are a total of 230 candies. The number of Kit Kats is 4 less than 2 times the number of Reese's. How many Kit Kats and Reese's are in the bag? We'll start with our let statement. So what are the two things that we want to find? What are the two unknowns? It says how many Kit Kats and how many Reese's. So we're really talking about the number of Kit Kats and number of Reese's. So I don't want to just say Kit Kat. X is Kit Kat, Y is Reese's. You want to say X is number of Kit Kats and Y is number of Reese's. Okay, so that's going to be my submission. Then you are supposed to come up with the equation. Okay, so the equation, we should have two different criteria that we need to fulfill. In the bag, there are a total of 230 candies. If X is number of Kit Kats and Y is the number of Reese's, how can we relate the X and Y together from the first sentence? There are a total of 230 candies. Okay, that means when you add the number of Kit Kats and when you add the two number of Reese's, you should get 230. So that means X plus Y is equal to 230. That's my first equation. Then what about the second equation? That's the second sentence. The number of Kit Kats is 4 less than. So the number of Kit Kats is, what is the number of Kit Kats? What did we say number of Kit Kats was? That's X. So we can rewrite this as the number of Kit Kats, that's X. And then when you see the is, that's equal sign. 4 less than. 4 less than makes you think about subtraction. But that is, it's after, it's what we call turnaround word, and I will explain that in a little while, that after whatever is done next, you subtract 4 from it. So 2 times the number of Reese's. So 2 times the number of Reese's. Number of Reese's we said was Y. So it's 4 less than. So we are multiplying number of Reese's by 2. And then to that you're subtracting 4 from it. So that becomes X is equal to 2Y minus 4. So I type in X is equal to 2Y minus 4. And then the next slide, I get to graph that. I have graphed it, but I don't see it, so I need to zoom out. When I do that, I get my intersection to be x is equal to 152, number